Keeping people aware of their rights as voters might seem harmless enough, but in one college town it's causing a little chaos. Jessica Durando from Rutgers University has more.
The uncertain presidential race isn't the only thing creating electoral buzz this year. Controversy is coming from a place most people wouldn't think of: voting rights cards. The New Jersey chapter of American Civil Liberties Union and League of Women Voters want to hand out the cards to inform voters. They feel too many people are casting their ballots unaware of their rights. However, the Attorney General filed suit last summer to prevent these organizations from handing out the cards within 100 feet of polling places. She reasoned the practice could encourage electioneering at the polls.
We think voters really need the information to know what they're entitled to when they enter a polling place. And some people might be first-time voters.
Last summer, the Attorney General issued a letter to the ACLU stating, activity within the 100-foot protected zone is to be limited to properly credentialed exit pollsters in furtherance of facilitating access to the polls and to assuring the orderly conduct of elections.
The biggest difficulty will be getting access to voters as they're going into the polls, because we've been told not is it just staying 100 feet from the polling site, but oftentimes the polling site's inside a large building.
On Election Day, ACLU members stood at 100 feet of polling places and continued to inform citizens by handing out the yellow cards. Several people said they appreciated the information.
I definitely believe that this is not only helpful but should be necessary. There's a lot of people that go into the voting booth and do not know exactly their rights, and if a small piece of paper will tell you what your rights are and what exactly you have to do, I think there should be no problem with that.
For Richard Lee, a Rutgers University professor of news, media, and government, handing out the cards is a good idea in theory, but can allow for partisan organizations to hand out literature telling voters how to vote and who to vote for.
If they grant the ACLU the right to hand out this literature within 100 feet of a voting place, it kind of opens a Pandora's box to other groups and becomes a question of where do you draw that line.
The president of the Rutgers University Democrats feels there are better ways to inform voters of electoral procedures that do not come into conflict with the Attorney General's decision.
I don't think anybody disagrees with the fact that voters should have these cards. I think it's just a matter of how we get them to the voters. I think that's certainly a possibility. We can have them mailed out with the ballot. We can also have them in boxes around the election spot so that people can take them.
Just recently, the Superior Court of New Jersey denied the ACLU's motion to appeal. Now the ACLU has to register 2 weeks before an election if it wants to be allowed within 100 feet of polling places. From Rutgers University, this is Jessica Durando reporting for OSTN.
Coming up, we've got movies, and more movies, and a little weather.
Stay tuned for an Oscar exclusive. We'll be right back.
Predator of the sea, terror of all men who enter the ocean. The very symbol of lurking danger. That is the shark.
Hi, I'm Rex Lee, and you're watching OSTN News.
Welcome back. We've got some big stuff going on in the entertainment world this week.
Tanisha Harris is standing by at the Rathskeller with the latest.
Roll out the red carpet for Hollywood's most famed event, the Oscars. And though the threat of cold and rain were persistent, stars still managed to keep things hot. USC's Allie Wiseman gives us the scoop from the Kodak Theater in Hollywood for a rundown of Oscar Weekend 2008 in this edition of Hollywood Minute.
2 days of rain in LA and 2 days of the best award shows of the season. Yesterday we were at the Independent Spirit Awards, and today we are at the 80th Annual Academy Awards, where the glitz of the carpet and the glamour of the gowns is coming at you from Hollywood at the Kodak Theater. Before Oscar could reach the hands of this year's best, Hollywood honored the best in independent cinema at this year's Film Independent Spirit Awards. What makes you an independent spirit?
Well, first of all, it's my third year that I am doing a jury duty for Independent Spirit Awards, foreign films, of course, and it gives me a chance to see somewhere between 38 to 45 films every year coming from all over the world, which is a great opportunity. And also, I love films with independent spirits.
So Juno was such a huge success. Did you have any idea while filming it that it was going to be that big?
None. I wanted to get off that set as soon as I could. I thought it was going down, down, down. But see, I'm not smart, so.
So other than you, who are you rooting for today?
Ellen and Diablo and the film in general.
Juno has been such a huge success. Did you know from the beginning that it was going to be? Did you always see that, or did you ever get a little worried?
I kind of thought it was going to be the most successful film of all time and win more Oscars than Ben-Hur. So far it's been a disappointment.
And the most surprising part of the night was the biggest baby bump, and we are not talking about Juno. Brangelina is about to make its way down the blue carpet at the Independent Spirit Awards. Stay tuned, they are a rare bird in this forest of Hollywood. The Barbie and Ken, there they are. Wax figures or real people? I really have no idea. Baby bump, huge baby bump. Then it was time for the real awards on Sunday, the Oscars. Early on Oscar Sunday, E's Ben Lyons discussed what movies were missing from this year's ceremony. I talked to you at the SAG Awards, and you were rooting for Into the Wild, which wasn't really nominated.
No.
Not a whole lot here today either.
Shows you what I know, right? I mean, my favorite film of the year, no Sean Penn for director, no Eddie Vedder for soundtrack. Every time I'm driving out to the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas, I put the Into the Wild soundtrack on and get lost in the mountains, and it was nowhere to be found at the Oscars, except for Hal Holbrook, nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
I'm rooting for him, are you?
Absolutely, it's the one highlight of the night for me in terms of my favorite film. But you know what? A great year for movies all around. I don't think we're gonna have one of those years that like a Titanic or Lord of the Rings comes through and just sweeps the event. I think there's gonna be something for everybody tonight.
Red gowns and one-strap dresses led the trend at this year's Oscars. Liz Ferraris tells us all about the best and worst dressed.
At the top of the list, Amy Adams awed in a navy one-shouldered column gown. Carrie Russell showed off her post-baby bod in a gorgeous strapless Nina Ricci gown. Marion Cotillard took a chance with a mermaid-inspired dress, but I think she pulled it off. Cameron Diaz glowed in a pink Dior by John Galliano gown. A simple ponytail allowed her laid-back style to shine through. And finally, Jennifer Garner wowed in a black taffeted dress by Oscar de la Renta in flawless hair and makeup. For the men, Javier Bardem topped the list. His new haircut gave him quite a different look from No Country for Old Men. And the worst dressed. George Clooney's date, Sarah Jane Larson, looked like she wore her grandmother's quilt. Juno writer Diablo Cody looked more like the stripper she used to be than an Oscar winner in her poorly fitting leopard print dress. And then, before you can say Bajli Mishka, the first Oscar was handed out. No Country for Old Men was the big winner of the evening, taking home Best Screenplay, the Coen brothers winning for Best Director, Javier Bardem winning Best Supporting Actor, and most importantly, Best Picture.
My mother has been working for almost 50 years, and she knows everything about all this, the ups, the downs, the dark, the light, and it's a great companion to have her on my side, and she always calms me down. And she knows that the really success is to get a job and try to fight for that job and try to do it as good as you can every time.
But don't drink your milkshakes too quickly. Daniel Day-Lewis drank up his win for Best Actor for his role in There Will Be Blood.
If people absorb something that you've done for whatever your reasons are, it's not relevant. But that gets absorbed into the culture in such a way that people make something else, somebody can make something else out of it. That's delightful to me.
The biggest surprises of the night came in actress categories as Marion Cotillard took home Best Actress and Tilda Swinton won for Best Supporting Actress. And that's it for our big award show weekend. We're so happy that we could bring it all to you from the University of Southern California. I'm Allie Wiseman for OSTN News.